have a killer on the.
Welcome back to another episode of an Inconvenient Sports Pod. I'm one of three hosts, AG, alongside my other two hosts, Rod and Ricky. Say what's up.
Hey, how's it
So,
going?
all right, today's a special podcast because the NFL schedule finally dropped. So we'll just jump right into it. So the NFL schedule dropped yesterday on Wednesday. And first question up for today: did the NFL do a good job putting these Week One matchups? I'll start off with Rod. Rod, did they do a good job with some Week One matchups, or they messed up a couple things? What do you think?
Yeah, I think they did a really good job with the matchups. I like the Cowboys and Buccaneers for the Week 1 game. I just think that if we can get a healthy Dak Prescott back, and obviously he had that brutal injury last season, and Tom Brady still continues to play at the level he's been playing, I think this could be an interesting game. I think Dallas got better in the offseason. I think Tampa Bay did a really good job on returning all 22 starters. And, just a couple other games in mind that, the Jets and Panthers is the game to watch week one. Obviously, for us 49er fans, we got our eyes on the Lions for the first, game of the season. So there's a lot of interesting week one games, in my opinion. I think they really did well on the schedule.
All right, Ricky.
Yeah, man. Rod said it. A lot of good matchups, man. That Cowboys Buccaneers game right off the bat, to start open up the season. They're gonna. I'm pretty sure they're reveal their Super Bowl banner. Be a lot of fans. Crazy, crazy environment, man. Because we're gonna see like a little different crowd than compared to they did have I think last year with the whole COVID thing going on. So it's gonna be exciting, man. It's gonna be a lot of emotions. Like Rod said, it's gonna be a interesting game to see if Dak can bounce back and perform well. So you never know with those home openers with Super Bowl defending teams that sometimes the emotions are too high for them. So it might be interesting to see if maybe the Cowboys cannot play them. Another really good game. The Browns Chiefs, man, talking about a rematch of last year's AFC divisional game where Mahomes got hurt, and then the backup came in and basically won the game with those two great plays, and the Browns were close, man. The Brownies, so it'll be a couple. Those are couple of really good games, man. And then you obviously have Sam Darnold with the Panthers now going up against his old team in the Jets with new Robert Sala. Like there's going to be a lot of like emotion, in these week one games, man. But I think that the NFL, they hit a home run with all these games, man, and I'm really excited to see it already.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that Dak Prescott gets back to his form because he did have such a brutal injury on his lower leg, and I mean, medicine has came a long way, and I think he'll bounce back in enough time to start. But who knows if he'll be healthy by then? I mean, I can see why the NFL put that as a week one, spotlight game to watch. Uh, but they did add some weapons too, and I just hope Mike McCarthy can, you know, put a better effort than put a better put a better effort than what we got showcased last year because they have a lot of talent. But some games that I like, Ricky, I got to agree with you. Browns and Chiefs, man. Browns and Chiefs, it's going to be a great game. The Browns added so many weapons on defense. I think they signed Johnson at safety. They signed Tack McKinley along with that great defensive line. So that defense is going to be stacked. So you got a great defense versus a great offense, and ran by Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. That's going to be a really great matchup. I'm looking at another good matchup. I'm looking forward to is Dolphins and Pats. Um, the Patriots added a lot more weapons, and it's literally a brand new team than what we saw last year. Yeah, it's literally a brand new team than we saw last year. The Dolphins, added some weapons too, and I'm really intrigued to see where Tua's at right now, and it's going to be a good scale for to see where the Dolphins are at with the added weapons that the Patriots made. And the last game I'm looking forward to is Chargers and Washington for that Week One matchup. I mean, me and Ricky were talking about it earlier. You got Justin Herbert right there, then along with some key additions that they got, along with a developing Washington football team. That's going to be really underrated coming into the season. I mean, they had a fantastic season last season. See if they can keep it up. But yeah, but what do you guys think about the Monday night game though for Week 1? Is it who is it? The Raiders and Ravens?
Yeah, it's the Raiders Ravens, man. That game's gonna be crazy. Like we were talking earlier, man. That it's gonna be the first game that they allow with fans in there, man, and it's just gonna be, like I said, emotional, man, because it's been like forever since some Raider fans have been able to go to a game, and now it's a new home game in a new arena, playing against Lamar Jackson. It just has that prime time build up to it, man, and it's gonna be really awesome to see, because the Raider fans are going to be so emotional. The Vegas Strip is going to be popping that week, man. You're going to have it's going to be busy Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like all just building up just to that game, man. It's gonna feel like maybe like a playoff environment for them because it's their first home game, and they've been waiting so long for it. So definitely feel like that is going to be a really good game.
Rod, what do you think?
Right. Going off of what Ricky said earlier, too, that, even though the Raiders have been in Vegas since last season, this is really Vegas's first true home game that's going to be able to allow fans. And I was looking at some of the prices for those Raider tickets, and they're in high demand right now. If you go like on StubHub, the just regular season opening tickets for the Raiders are nearly $800. And that just goes to show that, hey, like, fans are excited to go back and see a game, and it's a Sin City, like Ricky said, it's a party city. They're going to be hyped for this game, and you know obviously it's going to be a game that should be fun to watch. I think the Raiders. I don't know. I could see the Raiders pulling the upset this week, and I know the Ravens are a good team, but I think they've lost a couple guys on the offense, and I think the Raiders could definitely be able to get that Week 1 win for the fans.
Yeah, I mean, I get why the NFL did it. You know, this game for I mean, yeah, Las Vegas, didn't couldn't have any fans, so it was just kind of weird not seeing anyone in there. And a lot of Raider fans in Las Vegas are really excited, and yeah, obviously people are gonna pay. And I don't know if you guys heard too, like they just did a club a part like at one of the end zones. So having that added addition, I just imagine how much those tickets are going to go for. But yeah, I see why the NFL did this. But I think I would rather see the Dolphins and Patriots on that game. It's a divisional matchup. I mean, you know you got two teams that are really good. The Raiders, I don't know, man. Like we just talked about it on our draft episode, and we all agreed like they didn't have a strong draft. And I don't think they even signed anyone great either. But I mean, having Derek Carr right there or Marcus Mariota, I don't know. Like I hope it's a good game. I'm praying for it. I'm, I hope it is. I can't wait to see fans in the Las Vegas stadium, but I think I'd rather see the Dolphins and Patriots in there. But that's just my opinion. But all right, let's keep it going. So next up is which games are you most looking forward to this upcoming season? This could be any week. I don't care if it's like prime time or not. I'm gonna pick primetime games because they're prime time. But you guys can pick any games you guys are looking forward to. It can be week 17. I mean, week 17. Those last couple weeks are the best to watch when teams are trying to get into the playoffs. We'll start off with Ricky, man. Which games are you looking forward to this season?
So yeah, man. Actually, it's gonna be a really interesting one that probably you guys will be like, "What?" Because actually, Week 1, Steelers against the Bills, man. Because I feel like we're really gonna get a feel of what Ben Roethlisberger is gonna have to offer this year for the Steelers, man. Like we were talking about, we don't know whether he was gonna come back or not. Or like he's getting old. Like maybe it's time to call it. But it's something that I'm definitely gonna be eyeing. Because that Bills team is they're hungry this year, man, because of what happened to them in the AFC title game last year, man. They're ready to get after it and just to see if Ben still has maybe a little bit some he still has some in the tank, man. And so that's gonna be one close game that I'm really gonna have an eye out for this year. And then just another one, man, is gonna be probably the Buccaneers against the Rams, man. Week 3, you're gonna have Tom Brady going up against Matthew Stafford and a new offense with Sean McVay. Last year they put up a really entertaining game. Remember, guys, on that Monday night I think the Bucks ended up winning it, right? Or did the Rams win? I think the Bucks won.
Yeah, the Bucks
Um,
ended up pulling it off.
yeah, that was a crazy game, man. That was like probably one of the better Monday night games of the year, and I'm excited because they get to go at it again this year, and it's going to be in LA. And actually another one is going to be that week one Rams against the Bears because again you have another opening stadium game for the Rams where they're going to have fans there, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be Sunday night prime time under the lights against Khalil Mack, and who knows, guys? Maybe we'll even see Justin Fields starting week one for the Bears. So it's going to be one of the more exciting games that I think we'll see this year, man. Those are my top three though for this year.
All right, Rod.
Yeah, and interesting that you say that, Ricky, because I also have specifically three games that I'm excited to see. You covered the Bills a little bit, and you talked about the Rams a little bit, and the Buccaneers, and I have all three of those teams too, but different games for me. The first game I have is Week 4. Tom Brady returns to Foxborough. He's going to be going back to New England, take on a Patriots team that looks a lot better than they did last season with all the opt outs that they had. And, now they got some really good free agent signings. They spent a lot of money on really good players this season. So it should be a lot more interesting game than if they were to have played this last season. And uh, my next game has got to be the Bills and the Chiefs in week 5. I look at this game and I see something that's like a game that we saw with the Rams and the Chiefs back in 2018, where it was like 54-51. This is going to be a game that features two explosive offenses. You know, the Bills are definitely going to be hungry from last season, like you guys said earlier. I'm still having that iconic picture of Stephon Diggs looking at the Chiefs celebrate the AFC Championship victory. So he's hungry, and that entire Bills team is still hungry. So this is going to be another good game to watch. And then my last one is going to be Week 7, the Lions at Rams. This is a game that obviously both teams traded each of their quarterbacks to each other, so it's kind of like a double revenge game, right? Matthew Stafford gets to play against his former team, the Lions, and Jared Goff gets to play his former team in the Rams. So it's rare that we see these kind of games,
Yeah,
but I'm excited to see all
it's like a
three of
lot of
these.
like it's like a lot of reunion games, dude.
Yeah,
Like you were talking about Brady with the Patriots, Darnold with the Jets, then the Lions and the Rams with Stafford and Goff going back. It's crazy, man. It's like it's a trip.
yeah, and especially right for
Yeah,
the.
it was
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, AG.
no. You can finish your thought. I'll go after.
No, my last note was gonna say, and especially for that Week 4 game, are we gonna see Cam play against Brady, or are we gonna see the apparent next Tom Brady and Mac Jones start? I know, Mac Jones is your guy, Ricky.
Yeah.
Let's go, Mac Jones.
All right, go ahead, AG.
That
Sorry.
one, that one, man. I'm intrigued to see that one. I, I don't see Mac Jones starting at all this season though.
You
I don't
don't see
know.
him?
Who knows? I mean, you got Cam Newton there. I mean, Cam Newton signed back to obviously be the starter on a 1 year deal. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see what Bill Belichick does, man. He's the greatest coaches of all time, and I can see him pulling that kind of move. That one's a good matchup. Like you guys said, man, these reunion games, like I didn't even notice that until like I think yesterday when I was looking towards it at it the last night, and I was just reading around there like, damn, like Brady's going back to Foxborough to go play against his coach, and that one's gonna be such a good game, man. That one's gonna be hell of a game. Then you got Matthew Stafford and playing against the Detroit Lions and poor Jared Goff, and he's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be a great season for Jared Goff. He's gonna struggle like even against his this NFC West. I mean, now you got to play all four of these teams, and he's probably gonna get his butt handed to him. But we'll see on that. But my games I'm really intrigued of is yeah, uh, you know Bills and Chiefs is going to be a good one. Um, we'll see how Josh Allen can you know we'll see how Josh Allen plays this season, and I'm actually kind of rooting for him. You know he has his up and downs, and I hope he can have like somewhat MVP caliber season coming up against a really good team, that's Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm really looking forward to that matchup. Another one I'm looking forward to is the two number one picks. You got Jacksonville and Cincinnati. Joe Burrow, versus Trevor Lawrence. This one's going to be a really good matchup. Um, we'll see where how these guys are. I mean, see if who's a better number one pick, and I think the NFL is really going to push this game a lot. Soon the NFL is going to need a new face of the NFL. I mean, it obviously Patrick Mahomes, but I mean, it could be somebody else. We don't know. But yeah, a lot of old guys are moving out. Like you said, Ben Roethlisberger is moving out. Drew Brees just retired. So now you got a lot more young guys, to fill those roles of, faces of franchises. So let's see if these two guys can, make it done. But yeah, moving on. So the Niners schedule, do you have the Niners making the playoffs with the schedule? I don't know if you guys saw, but uh, usually people rank the strength of the schedule, and so starting from one, it's the hardest, and all the way down to 32 is the easiest schedule. So the Niners were tied for 19th for easiest schedule, but I don't know how you guys feel about this schedule we're gonna have. You think the Niners are gonna do good, playoff worthy, go 8-9? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I saw on the Bleacher Report that they had the 49ers predicted to go 8-9, and Bleacher Report's the same website that predicted or said that we were going to draft Mac Jones. I don't know how much credibility they really have to be predicting games. But, honestly, man, looking over the schedule, there's no way that a healthy or at least a semi-healthy 49ers team can't win at least 13 games. And what I mean, and if I'm saying that wrong, what I'm trying to say is that looking at the schedule, I think we can at least go 13-3 or 13-4 this year. I'm sorry. I think that the Cardinals got a lot better. I think we split a game versus them. We go 1-1. Seattle, same thing. I think we go 1-1, but the rest of the way, I think it's a you know, fairly easy schedule for us. I don't, I look at the Lions and Eagles, week 1, week 2. I think those are both very winnable games. And there's going to be a stretch where I see us just, taking on 4 straight wins against Seattle, against Arizona, the Colts, and the Bears. I think those 4 games should be winnable games for us during the middle of the season. Yeah, I'm excited. I think this is, like I said before, this is a team that should win at least 13 games this season if we're healthy, for sure.
Yeah, man, you were saying it. Very winnable games. A lot of winnable games in that schedule, man. But I like to look at the first 2 weeks, and what I mean by that is I look at the first 2 weeks always in every season. Since I've watched football, and I'm like, those games usually determine how our season's gonna go, man. We saw it last year with the Cardinals, and we saw how that game went off in the opening year. Like, oh, we weren't able to get through that hump. So I was like, really feel like this team's gonna struggle this year, man. Even though we got a couple of wins after that, I'm like, I don't see it. And guess what? The season got worse because we started hitting injuries, and we started missing a lot of key guys. And so I'm really intrigued. Like even though it's the Lions, man, and we expect the Niners to blow them out, I expect them to blow them out, but I just really want to see what this team has to offer, man. And then we have a lot of prime time games too, which is what I'm excited for because Niners on primetime, man, it doesn't get any better. Our week 3 home opener up against the Packers, man, it's gonna be crazy, man. We're talking about going to that game. I really want to go to that game, man. And then you were also mentioning it, Rod. Divisional games are never easy, man. We are in the toughest division in the NFL. The NFC West is the toughest division in the NFL, and we can all agree on that, man. Because never count out Seattle with Russell Wilson ever. Sean McVay is a great play caller. We'll see what he can do with Matthew Stafford. And Kyler Murray is, maybe a star in the rise, with the Cliff Kingsbury and DeAndre Hopkins and all that talent, man. They just keep adding on more talent, not getting J.J. Watt and everything. So, you know, I definitely do see the Niners making a playoff push because I think it's between them and the Rams. Both of those teams are just going to be fighting it out for the NFC West, And like I said, don't count out Seattle. But, yeah, man, I definitely do think that our schedule is very possible for us to go above 500 and hopefully end up in the playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean, like it should be pretty easy to get these a lot of these wins. I mean, we're playing teams like the Texans, man, Lions week 1, Jaguars, with a new head coach. And, the Bears with their quarterback situation. I mean, there's a lot of games where we should be over 500 and we should be in the playoffs. I mean, we have enough talent and depth, and we can succeed. This, or the Niners can succeed this season. I mean, there shouldn't be no excuse. We have, if Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't do well, we have Trey Lance. We don't have, Nick Mullins or CJ Beathard no more. We have a guy that can, I feel comfortable, having step in and, grasping the playbook and being ready, and it, the only games I'm worried about is our division. I mean, those are always hard. You have to play the same team twice every single year. And, it's tough to even win a team twice, you know, given how, competitive it is, and you're already seen the other team's offense and you've been working against them for so many years. It's like it's hard to get a win against them, but we did against the Rams, just saying. But I'm really looking forward to this. The Niners should make the playoffs. They should make the playoffs. No reason why they shouldn't go 14-3 or even a better record. But I feel really confident with the Niners this season, man. And yeah, we were talking about it the other day. See what games we want to go to, and I don't know. Like, I'm very excited for this season, man, and I'm so happy we could even go to a game now. I'm very ecstatic for it, but you know, we'll see how it goes. All
Yeah,
right,
and
just
adding
go
on
ahead,
to
go
that,
ahead.
man. Just adding on to it, man. I'm just also our weapons coming back, dude. I feel it's gonna have a real impact on our record. We're gonna have a healthy Raheem Mostert, a healthy Nick Bosa, a healthy DJ Jones. A lot of guys are gonna be coming back, man. And I just really excited for all the pieces that are gonna come back together. I know that we're all really excited to see if Jalen Hurd can finally play, man. That is the one guy that I'm really rooting for this year to have a good year, man. Because this guy, we've been waiting so long to see him, and so I really hope that he's ready to go week 1 against the Lions, man, and to get him involved with Debo and Ayuk and everything else, man. But yeah, definitely want the Niners in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, adding on to that, man, like the wide receiver core for this team, I'm very surprised. Kyle and John Lynch didn't bring any wide receivers in free agency or the NFL draft. I mean, that means they're really comfortable with Richie James, and Richie James does deserve a shot to play in the slot. And Jalen Hurd, man, Jalen Hurd, everyone was, very excited for that guy. I mean, that first preseason game that he played, he ran over the hell out of the secondary, man. He was just a bulldozer. I mean, a former running back. He's just just a great athlete. And I remember when he got hurt, it was just really sad to see so many of the Niner fan base, kind of crap on him. And he had to delete his social media. I don't know if you guys remember that. He had to delete everything because everybody was so negative about him, and I'm really rooting for this guy, man. This is someone I'm going to keep an eye on in training camp. If they have it this year, I think they'll have it. But this is someone to root for, and I think if you're a Niner fan or a football fan, man, you just want to see these guys succeed because it just sucks to see them struggle and have so many negative thoughts about them. Like, it just kind of sucks. And I don't know if Rod, you want to add anything to this? Any guys you're looking forward to coming in? Reggie James, anybody?
Yeah, I'm just excited to see how this offensive line goes. I know we drafted a couple guys on the offensive line with Aaron Banks and Jalen Moore. It's going to be interesting to see those kind of position battles happen in camp. Who's going to be, obviously you look at the left tackle. Trent Williams is the first sure starter, and we signed Alex Mack in the offseason. And then we have Lincoln Tomlinson at the left guard. So we already have some established guys, but you look at that right guard position, that's going to be something to keep an eye on. Is it going to be Daniel Brumskill, who actually played fairly well this past season, especially with how he played against Aaron Donald? or do we see Aaron Banks go and fill that role at right guard? I know he was primarily a left guard at Notre Dame, but you know, obviously it should be not that hard to transition from left to right guard, I believe, and he's obviously a bully as a guard. So I just think that keeping an eye on that offensive line battle in camp is, if we have a camp or in the preseason, it's going to be interesting to see that starting lineup because, you look at our offensive lines in the past, we've had some great offensive lines, especially that one year where I believe it was Ricky. We were talking about this a while ago. It was like 2011, 2012, where they had that, amazing line that helped lead us to the Super Bowl that season.
Yep, Joe Staley, Mikey Potty, Jonathan Goodwin, Adam Snyder, and Anthony Davis, man. But yeah, man, it's all in the trenches, man. And the Niners have, I think, one of the top five offensive lines in football, man. Because with Kyle Shanahan, the way he's able to make all those guys, scheme them up, and the zone blocking, which is so hard to do in the NFL, and but he finds a way to get it done, man. These guys find a way to get it done, like you were saying. Brunskill, when he's active, man, he is active, and he's probably, I think, put him in right guard as a starting right guard at the beginning of camp, and let the backups fight for him, man, because he's proven that he's a starter caliber, man, and Alex Mack too, already knows the system, and it's just gonna be, yeah, really interesting to see, man, because our offensive line, they 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 lead us to the way, man. We don't score touchdowns without them, and but really excited to see that offensive line.
Yeah, like you guys said it best, man. And by the way, don't forget about Alex Boone. You guys put respect on that man's name. How do you dare you say Adam Snyder
He said
first and Alex
2011
Boone?
team. He said
Yeah, Alex
2011
Boone.
team.
Yeah, Alex Boone was on that offensive line, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't. He was 2012.
No, he wasn't. Was he really?
Yes.
Ah, well, either way, respect that man because that guy got named after a rhino, or a rhino got named after him. Put respect on him. But yeah, man. I mean, the Niners have seen so many great offensive lines, but I mean, we haven't seen a good one since that Super Bowl one we just recently went on. But I would really love to see a group like that 2011 2012 team. I mean, those guys just were so connected. And I mean, I think they were around all the same age, it's just a bunch of young guys. And Jonathan Goodwin was the older one, actually. And, he was really a focal point on that offensive line. I mean, he was a veteran. As a center, you're really the quarterback, for the offensive line. You're extra pair of eyes for the quarterback. I mean, you're pointing out blitzes coming in, seeing, pointing where guys should go block, and, bringing in Alex Mack, man. Like, Kyle Shanahan really loves his centers, and he really loves Alex Mack. And, just for him coming back in and a center being, the biggest piece on that offensive line for Kyle Shanahan's offense is so big. I mean, I hope this offensive line can, come together and be that, mimic that 2011 2012 feel. But yeah, I mean, and Daniel Brunskill trying to do that battle with Aaron Brooks maybe. But I have a feeling that Daniel Brunskill will stay. I mean, he's such an important piece to the offense. But we'll see where like the sixth and seventh spot, or sorry, the seventh, and I think there's like they usually keep 8 spots on for offensive line, right, on the roster. Am I not mistaken? Like
Yeah, I
8 and
believe
9,
More or
so.
less.
8. Yeah, 8 and 9. Yeah, so I mean, those final spots for that, for that offensive line, it's going to be really intriguing. Colin Mikovits, I think he's been a really big bust as a draft pick for us. It was kind of weird pick too. I didn't see why the talent, what they saw in him. He's just been a bust. I mean, but for the Niners to draft guys that like Jalen Moore and Aaron Brooks who aren't hurt at all, don't have a big injury history. That's going to be really intriguing to see in training camp. Any rookies you guys excited to see though before we leave off that we drafted? This that does not include Trey Lance. Does not include Trey Lance.
Go ahead, Ricky.
Trey Sermon, man, the running back. I mean, I was telling Rod before the draft, dude, what do you think about Trey Sermon? He's a big power running back. And Rod was like, yeah, maybe if he's there, maybe we could draft him. And guess what? He was there. And we drafted him. This guy, he can do it all, man. He can catch out of the backfield. He can run the ball, with very great physicality, and he likes to run over people a lot, and that's what I love, about him coming into the offense. And I just hope that Shanahan can find a way to get him in. But like I'm saying, our running back depth, man, is crazy. Like you talk about, it's crazy, man, because we have Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr., Wayne Gallman, uh, Jermichael Hasty, and now you're gonna add in Trey Sermon. It's crazy, man. It's a very deep, deep running back group that we have. But I'm all for it, man. I'm all for Trey Sermon. I love the pick. I still love it, and that's the guy that I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the safety that we got from USC in Hufanga. Fifth round pick. This is a guy who should not have lasted that long in the draft. He had the nickname the Trojan Missile, and if you go and watch his highlights, he is just all over the ball. He can play as a box linebacker. He has that hybrid safety linebacker to him. But like I said before, if you look at his highlight tapes, he just has a nose for the football, and I think you know he kind of reminded John Lynch a little bit of himself while possibly watching the film because he just makes play after play. And this is a guy who also worked out with Troy Polamalu in the offseason. So that he's learned from the best, possibly one of the best safeties of all time. And this is a guy who's going to work his way on the depth chart first. I'm, most likely we're going to see him on special teams to start his career. And we've had a lot of injuries in the defensive backfield, so I would not be surprised if at any point this game, or I'm sorry, this season, he starts a game for us. And I don't see any, I don't see any way that this guy is a bad pick at all. I think this is going to be the next George Kittle, that we have a fifth round guy that we selected that's just going to be a major steal, and everyone's going to be wondering how did he last that long in the draft.
Yeah, I gotta agree on that, man. Like he's just starting to be a fan favorite. He's a guy that loves to put in the hard work. Is very humble. Um, I love that he said that his goal this upcoming season is to make the Pro Bowl on the special teams. To have a guy that is passionate about wherever he plays, and that he wants to make an impact wherever he comes in. Like that, I appreciate that a lot. And he's starting to be a real fan favorite again, and he's starting to be my favorite too. But yeah, Trey Sermon, Hufunga is someone two guys to look at. But for my guy, it's Ambry Thomas. I think that's such an underrated pick, man. I love the pick. He's a very shutdown corner. The the seasons that he played, I think he opted out this last season, but the season that he played, he only let off a 43% passer rating, which is lockdown, and it's not something to look over at. But Ambry Thomas, man, like just to have that added depth to the corners, where we signed a lot of guys to 1 year deals, where I think they're not going to stay for next season, like Kwan Williams and Jason Verrett. Jason Verrett, man, I hope he stays longer, but I just can't see it. But just to have added depth, and the guys not guys that have talent, and can be very dependable on to stay healthy, is someone like Ambry Thomas that I'm very looking forward to. So yeah, all these picks are great, man. But the season's almost coming, 4 more months until the start of the 2021 season. So excited. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up today's episode, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you share. It really helps us grow the channel. But yeah, that'll wrap it up for today, guys. And we'll see y'all later.
Later, guys.
Later.